How was your day? Is there any question in English that's more common or more terrifying to answer?
Right? You feel this pressure to have an amazing story, but most of the time, your day was just today.
Exactly. So if you've ever been stuck for words, you're in the right place. Welcome to Everyday English 15, the podcast that helps you with the English you actually use. I'm Ellie.
And I'm Noah. And today, we are tackling that exact problem. How to talk about your day even when you feel like nothing interesting happened.
We promise by the end of this episode, you'll have a toolbox full of phrases and strategies to answer that question with confidence.
And maybe even enjoy it. But first, Ellie, how was your day for real?
Putting me on the spot. It was actually pretty good. A bit busy. I tried a new recipe for lentil soup, and Tinkerbell, my cat, was trying to help the entire time.
By help, you mean she was batting the vegetables off the counter?
You know her too well. What about you? How was your day, Noah?
It was solid. Took Mookie, my dog, for a long run this morning, which was great. Then I had a ton of meetings, the usual stuff.
The usual stuff. That's what we're talking about. It's a perfectly fine answer, but sometimes you want to say more.
Exactly. It's the default answer when you're tired or don't know what to say. So let's break this down. What's the first hurdle people face?
I think it's the belief that their day wasn't interesting enough to talk about. We see these exciting lives on social media, and our Tuesday afternoon of emails and errands feels boring in comparison.
Totally. So let's start with the boring day. You don't have to lie and invent some crazy adventure. You can use phrases that are honest but still keep the conversation going.
Right, like your phrase, the usual stuff. Other common ones are same old, or nothing much, or just a typical day.
These are great starting points. But the trick is to add just one small specific detail. It turns a conversation stopper into a conversation starter.
Ooh, I like that. So instead of just same old, you could say same old, although I did manage to finish a book I'd been reading for ages.
Perfect. Or just a typical work day, but my boss told a surprisingly funny joke in our morning meeting. It's tiny, but it gives the other person something to ask about.
Yes, they can ask, oh, what book was it? Or what was the joke? It opens a door. It shows you're willing to share even if your day wasn't a blockbuster movie.
Let's try it. Imagine I just got home from work. You asked me how my day was. I say, oh, same old, same old. The commute was a nightmare.
My immediate response would be, what happened? Was there an accident? See? Instant conversation. We're talking about traffic, which might sound boring, but it's a shared, relatable experience.
Exactly. And that's what most conversation is built on. Shared, relatable experiences, not epic tales of dragon slaying.
Although, if you did slay a dragon, you should definitely lead with that.
Obviously. My day was pretty standard except for the dragon I slayed around lunchtime.
That's an advanced technique. For everyone else, just adding one detail is a great start. And this is a great moment to say, if you're enjoying these tips and want to make sure you don't miss our future episodes on practical everyday English,
please take a second to hit that subscribe or follow button on whatever podcast app you're using. It's free, and it means we'll pop up in your feed every time a new episode drops. It really helps us out.
It really does. Okay, so we've covered the boring day. Let's move on to the next level, using better vocabulary. I'm talking about moving beyond just good or bad.
Yes, the adjective upgrade. This is huge. How was your day? Good. It's another conversation killer.
It is. Good tells me nothing. But what if I said your day was productive?
Okay, now I'm interested. Productive implies you accomplish things. I'd ask, oh yeah, what did you get done?
Exactly. Or what if I said my day was hectic?
That paints a picture of you running around, busy, maybe a little stressed. It has so much more flavor than bad or busy.
Right. Let's brainstorm some of these. For a positive day, instead of good, you could say productive, relaxing, interesting, eventful, or even surprisingly great.
I like eventful. It creates suspense. And for a negative day, instead of bad, you could try hectic, stressful, frustrating, exhausting, or a bit of a wash.
A bit of a wash is a great idiom. It means it wasn't successful, you didn't really achieve anything. Like, I tried to get a lot of work done, but with all the interruptions, the day was a wash.
So let's role play again. Ellie, how was your day?
It was surprisingly relaxing, actually. I had a bunch of things on my to-do list, but I finished them all early, so I spent the afternoon just reading in the park.
That sounds amazing. See how much better that is than it was good? I get a clear picture and I feel happy for you. My turn. Ask me.
Okay, Noah, how was your day?
Honestly, it was pretty frustrating. I was working on this report all day, and right when I was about to finish, my computer crashed and I lost the last hour of work.
Oh no, that's the worst feeling. Did you manage to recover it?
Eventually, yeah, but it was just one of those moments where you want to scream into a pillow.
I totally get that. So notice what we did there. We used a strong adjective, relaxing or frustrating, and then we gave one sentence of explanation. That's the magic formula.
Adjective plus a one-sentence story. It's simple, but it's so effective. It gives the conversation depth.
And it makes you a more engaging person to talk to. You're sharing a piece of your actual experience, not just a one-word summary.
This ties back to what you said about social media. We think we need a big story, but really, people just connect with small, honest emotions. Frustration about a computer crashing is way more relatable than a perfect photo from a yacht.
So true. Unless you're actually on a yacht. In which case, tell me about that.
We can dream. Okay, so we have a strategy for boring days and a way to upgrade our adjectives. What's next in our toolkit?
I think we should talk about structure. Sometimes you do have a story to tell, but you don't know how to organize your thoughts, especially in a foreign language.
Right, you don't want to ramble on for 10 minutes. The other person will just be nodding and smiling while their brain is somewhere else entirely.
Been there. A simple way to structure your story is chronologically. Basically, you tell it in the order it happened, and you use simple transition words to guide the listener.
The classic first, then, after that structure.
Exactly. It's simple, it's clear, and it works. You can start with your morning. For example, well, this morning I woke up early to take Mookie for a walk.
Okay, let me try to tell you about my actual day using this. So, first thing this morning, I had that big run with Mookie I mentioned. The weather was perfect.
Nice. What happened after that?
Then I had back-to-back meetings from about 10 a.m. until lunch. It was mostly planning for this new project, which was actually pretty interesting.
Okay, so a good run and interesting meetings. Sounds like a decent day so far.
It was. Later on, I had to run some errands, pick up dog food, go to the post office, the boring stuff. And then finally, I got to come here to record with my favorite co-host.
The highlight of your day, I'm sure. But see how that worked? You used first thing, then, later on, and finally. It was like a mini story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. It was super easy to follow.
And it wasn't too long. I picked just a few key moments. The run, the meetings, the errands, and recording. I didn't tell you about my breakfast or the color of my sock.
Which we appreciate. It's about selecting the key events. You don't need to give a minute-by-minute report. I'll try one. Let's say you ask me about my weekend.
Okay, Ellie, how was your weekend?
It was lovely. On Saturday morning, I went to my favorite yoga class. After that, I met up with a friend for lunch at that new Italian place downtown.
Oh, the one on Maple Street? I've been wanting to try that.
That's the one. It was delicious. Then, on Sunday, I did a big grocery shop because I wanted to do some meal prep for the week.
Super productive.
It was. And finally, Sunday evening, I just curled up on the couch with Tinkerbell and watched a movie. It was the perfect end to the weekend.
That sounds like a great balance of being social and having some relaxing time for yourself. And again, easy to follow because you guided me through it.
So, for our listeners, practicing with these transition words, first, then, next, after that, later, finally, is a fantastic way to feel more confident when telling a slightly longer story.
But what if you don't want to tell the whole story? Maybe you're short on time, or maybe only one thing from your day really stands out.
That's a great point. And that brings us to our next strategy, the highlight reel. Instead of a chronological story, you just share the single most interesting, funny, or frustrating part of your day.
The peak or the pit, the best moment or the worst moment.
Exactly. You can introduce this with a specific phrase. For example, the best part of my day was, and you just jump straight to it.
I like that. It cuts right to the chase. So for me today, I could say, My day was mostly meetings, but the best part was getting an email from my friend who lives in Japan. He's planning a trip to visit this summer.
That's amazing. How long has it been since you've seen him?
A few years now because of the pandemic and everything, so it was really exciting news.
See, I didn't need to know about your breakfast or your commute. I gave you the most emotionally significant part of your day, and we had a real connecting conversation about it.
Right. And you can do the same for negative things. You can start with, "You will not believe what happened to me today."
That is the ultimate hook. If someone says that to me, I am 100% listening.
"Doe, what happened to you today, Ellie? You won't believe it."
You won't. So I was making that lentil soup I mentioned. I had all the vegetables chopped, everything was simmering on the stove, smelling delicious.
Sounds perfect so far.
It was. I went to grab the salt, and I guess the lid wasn't on properly because the entire thing came off and a mountain of salt poured directly into my beautiful soup.
Oh, the whole container?
The whole thing. It was completely ruined. I had to throw the whole pot out. It was so frustrating.
I can feel the pain. That's a kitchen tragedy right there. But it's a great story.
It's a better story now than it was at the time, but by using the highlight or lowlight approach, I gave you the most dramatic part of my day in just a few sentences.
And it's often funnier or more interesting to talk about the things that go wrong. People connect over shared frustrations. The "my computer crashed" story or the "I ruined the soup" story are classic examples.
They really are. So to recap our strategies, we have the boring day plus one detail method,
We have the adjective upgrade with a one-sentence explanation,
the chronological story using transition words.
and the highlight reel, where you share just the best or worst part.
With these 4 tools, you can pretty much handle any "how was your day" situation. It's about choosing the right tool for the moment.
And for the person you're talking to, if it's a quick chat with a cashier, "not bad, thanks," is totally fine. But if it's a friend you want to connect with, you can try one of the other strategies.
Exactly. It's about building your confidence so you have choices. You're not just stuck with good or fine. You can share a little piece of your life.
And that's what language is all about, right? Connection. It's not about perfect grammar, it's about sharing experiences.
So well said. And we want to encourage all of you listening to practice this. Tonight or the next time someone asks you about your day, try one of these techniques.
Maybe just with yourself in the mirror first if you're feeling nervous. Just say out loud, "My day was productive because I finished 3 chapters of my textbook."
That's a great idea. Or you can write it down. Just 1 or 2 sentences about your day, trying to use a new adjective. It's all about building the habit.
And remembering that your day, your life, is interesting enough. The small details are where the real stories are. The funny joke from your boss, the new coffee shop you tried, the dog you saw on your walk.
Absolutely. It's about learning to see the stories in your own day-to-day life. I think that just about wraps it up for today's topic, doesn't it?
I think so. We've given our listeners a full toolkit. Now they just need to go out and use it.
We hope you found this episode helpful. We love making Everyday English 15, and our goal is always to help you feel more comfortable and confident using English in your real life.
Join us next time when we'll be talking about another common situation, how to politely disagree with someone.
Ooh, that's a juicy one. You do not want to miss that. Until then, take care and have a great rest of your day.
And we mean it. We hope it's productive, relaxing, or at the very least, eventful enough for a good story. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.